In a crowded roadside cafe, Victor freezes as he sees Lena secretly feeding his weak parents, Margaret and Edward, his world collapsing in shock. A wealthy man publicly mocks Lena for serving beggars, but Victor suddenly steps forward, his cold gaze silencing the entire cafe in a shocking power shift. Before we dive in, let us know in the comments what time is it and where are you watching from. Let's start. Victor whispers their names for the first time in years, and Margaret drops her spoon, realizing the son who abandoned them is sitting right in front of her. Lena quietly steps away as Victor breaks down, realizing the waitress he barely noticed has been protecting his parents while he lived in luxury. Victor steps into the dark alley behind the cafe, his voice low but intense as he confronts Lena, demanding to know why she chose to help two abandoned strangers when no one else cared. Lena quietly replies that hunger does not ask for identity, her words landing with quiet force, leaving Victor standing still as something inside him begins to crack. The silence breaks as Victor's phone rings sharply, pulling him back into his powerful world, forcing him to listen as a high-stakes deal demands his immediate decision. Victor suddenly ends the call mid-sentence, his voice firm as he rejects the deal, choosing instead to face the painful reality standing in front of him. Victor turns without another word and walks back toward the cafe, his steps heavy with realization as the life he built begins to feel meaningless against what he just witnessed. Victor walks back inside and stops mid-step as he sees his parents sitting silently, the untouched food on the table revealing a quiet dignity that makes his chest tighten with guilt. Victor slowly approaches the table, each step heavier than the last, as memories of abandonment flash in his mind, and his parents avoid meeting his eyes. Victor pulls out a chair and sits across from them, his voice trembling as he tries to speak. But the silence between them grows louder than any words he could say. Margaret finally speaks with a fragile voice, asking why he came back now, her question cutting through years of distance and forcing Victor to confront the truth he avoided. Before Victor can answer, Lena steps forward and places fresh food on the table, her quiet presence shifting the moment as she unknowingly bridges the broken space between them. Victor slowly reaches for the glass of water, but his hand trembles, memories flooding back as he struggles to hold himself together in front of the parents he once left behind. Edward finally breaks the silence with a firm but tired voice, asking Victor why success was more important than family, his words hitting harder than any accusation. Victor tries to explain, but his voice fails him, the weight of years collapsing into a single moment where words are no longer enough to fix what he broke. Lena quietly places a cup of tea in front of Margaret, her gentle action calming the rising tension while silently revealing how deeply she has been caring for them. As Victor looks around the modest cafe, he realizes this place has become his parents' only home. And the truth hits him that Lena has been their only support all along. Victor suddenly stands up from the table, his chair scraping loudly against the floor, as he declares that this situation will end tonight, his voice filled with authority but shaken by emotion. Edward responds firmly, refusing any sudden help, his pride refusing to accept anything from the son who disappeared when they needed him the most. Victor insists they will leave with him immediately, but Margaret gently shakes her head, revealing that this place and the waitress have become their only sense of safety. The cafe owner suddenly approaches angrily, accusing Lena of feeding people without permission and threatening to fire her, shifting the tension into a public confrontation. Victor steps forward and places a large amount of cash on the table, silencing the owner instantly. But Lena looks at him with quiet disappointment, as if money cannot fix what truly matters. Lena steps forward and quietly pushes the money back toward Victor, her eyes steady as she refuses to let dignity be replaced by wealth in front of those who trusted her. The cafe falls silent as everyone watches, and for the first time Victor realizes that his power means nothing in a place built on compassion rather than control. The cafe owner angrily demands Lena leave immediately, escalating the situation as Victor watches the consequences of her kindness unfold in front of him. Without arguing, Lena removes her apron and places it on the table, choosing to leave rather than let the situation worsen for the elderly couple she cares about. As Lena walks toward the exit, Victor remains frozen, realizing that the one person who truly cared is leaving because of him, and he has no idea how to stop her. Victor suddenly rushes forward and calls out her name, his voice breaking as the weight of losing the only person who stood by his parents finally overwhelms him. Lena stops but does not turn around, her silence forcing Victor to confront the truth that some actions cannot be undone with words alone. Victor steps closer and admits that he failed not just as a son, but as a human being, his voice raw and unfiltered for the first time in years. Lena finally turns to face him, her eyes filled with quiet pain as she tells him that regret means nothing if it comes too late. Victor drops to his knees in front of her, shocking everyone inside the cafe, as the powerful man finally lets go of his pride in a desperate attempt to fix what he destroyed. Lena takes a slow step back, her expression softening slightly as she watches Victor on his knees. Yet her silence carries the weight of years of pain he never witnessed. Margaret slowly stands up from her seat, her fragile body trembling as she walks toward Victor, torn between a mother's love and the scars left by abandonment. Victor looks up at his mother, his eyes filled with regret as he realizes this might be the only chance he has left to be forgiven. Margaret gently places her hand on Victor's head, not in full forgiveness, but in a moment of emotional weakness that reveals her love never truly disappeared. As the moment softens, Lena quietly turns and walks out of the cafe, leaving behind a silence that signals her role in their lives may already be over. Victor slowly stands up, his eyes fixed on the empty doorway, realizing that the person who held everything together has now disappeared from his life without asking for anything. Victor suddenly rushes out of the cafe, his controlled world breaking apart as he steps into the night, desperate to find Lena before she disappears completely. He stops in the empty street, looking around in desperation, but the silence answers him, making him realize how quickly someone important can vanish without a trace. Victor notices something on the ground near the alley entrance and walks toward it, his steps slowing as a strange feeling of realization begins to build. He bends down and picks up a worn-out photo of his parents from years ago, realizing with shock that Lena has been carrying a piece of his past all along. Victor stares at the photo under the dim streetlight, his breath slowing as he realizes this was taken during a time he had completely erased from his memory. Victor quickly pulls out his phone and calls his assistant, his voice urgent as he demands every detail about the cafe and the waitress who suddenly feels connected to his past. Inside a dim security room, surveillance footage begins playing as Victor watches silently, seeing Lena caring for his parents night after night without expecting anything in return. As the footage continues, Victor notices Lena secretly leaving money under the table for his parents, revealing a sacrifice far greater than he ever imagined. Victor leans closer to the screen as a final clip reveals Lena sitting alone after closing time, holding that same old photograph, her silent tears exposing a hidden connection he never saw coming. Victor rushes out of the security room, his mind racing as the truth begins to form, realizing he has been blind to something
can
far
see the way you're
deeper than
breaking
simple kindness.
underneath
Inside
that
his
quiet
luxury
smile.
office, Victor throws the
But you
photograph
don't
onto
have
his
to
desk
face
and stares at it,
all alone
noticing a
this
small
whole
detail he
damn
had
time.
missed before
You
that
don't
shakes him
have to
completely.
look
He
behind.
zooms in on the
I'll
photo
be
using
there
his phone
just
and notices a
outside.
young girl
When the
standing
world
beside
gets
his
way too
a
heavy,
face that
I'll
looks
be holding up your sky.
Victor
You
whispers
don't
his
have
name
to
in
say
disbelief
my
as the
name.
realization
I'll
hits
still
him
hear
that
you
Lena
in the
is not
dark.
a stranger,
Even if
someone
you
connected
never
to a forgotten
notice,
chapter
I've been
of his
with you
family's past.
from
A sudden
the
memory
start.
flashes in his mind of a childhood promise made to protect someone, and the shocking
If you
truth
stumble,
emerges
if you
that
fall,
Lena was once part of his life.
if your light
before everything
begins to
changed.
fade,
Victor
I'll be
rushes out
right
of his
there
office
in
and into the
silence,
elevator, his
making
breathing
sure
heavy
you're
as the truth
not
begins to take shape.
afraid. You
Knowing he
don't
must
have
find
to
Lena
look
before it
behind.
is too late to
I'll
save.
be there
As
just
the elevator
outside.
descends, flashes
When
of
the
memory
world gets
overwhelm
way
Victor.
too heavy,
Fragments of
I'll
laughter
be
and a
holding
young
up
girl's
your
voice
sky.
echoing
You
faintly in
don't
his
have
mind,
to say
bringing
my
him
name.
closer to the
I'll
truth.
still hear you in the
The
dark.
elevator doors open,
Even
and
if
Victor
you
steps into the
never
underground
notice,
parking area,
I've been
immediately
with you
calling his assistant again,
from
demanding
the
Lena's
start.
full identity with a voice
I
filled
don't
with
need to
urgency
stand
and fear.
beside you.
His
I don't
assistant
need
hesitates
to be
before
the
revealing a
light.
shocking detail,
If it
saying
means
Lena
that
was
you
once
keep
registered
moving,
under a
I'll
different name
just stay
connected to a family
here
tragedy. Victor
out
tried
of
to
sight.
forget. Victor lowers the phone
You
slowly,
don't have
whispering
to
her
look
real name under
behind.
his breath
I'll be
as the
there
final piece
just
falls into place
outside.
and the truth
the world
explodes in
gets
his
way
mind
too
with
heavy,
devastating
I'll
clarity.
be holding up
Victor
your
rushes back into his
sky. You
car
don't
and
have
speeds
to
through the
say
city,
my
his
name.
mind
I'll
replaying
still
every moment
hear you
as the
in
truth
the
becomes
dark.
impossible to
Even
ignore
if
any
you
longer.
never
As he
notice,
drives, a
I've
full
been with
memory
you
crashes into his
from
mind of a tragic
start.
accident years ago, where a young girl was left alone after losing everything connected to his family. Victor realizes with horror that Lena was that same girl,
You don't have to turn
someone
around.
his family once promised to protect, but was abandoned when everything fell apart. The realization breaks him as he understands that Lena did not just help his parents, she stayed loyal to a promise his own family failed to keep. Victor presses the accelerator harder, determined to find Lena and face the truth, knowing that this moment will decide whether he redeems himself or loses everything forever. Victor's car screeches to a stop outside the quiet street near the cafe, his eyes scanning desperately as fear rises that he may already be too late to find her. Victor runs down the street, calling out her name, his voice echoing in the empty silence as panic begins to take over his controlled demeanor. He turns into the narrow alley where it all began, slowing down as he notices a familiar figure standing under the dim light, motionless
There's a storm
and
inside
distant.
my chest.
Victor stops a few steps
my
away
lips stay
and
locked
finally
and
says
dry.
her real name, his
Every
voice
word
breaking
I
as the
wanna
truth
tell
stands between them,
drowns before
heavy
it
and
even
undeniable.
tries.
Lena
You're
slowly
right there,
turns
but
toward
feel
him,
so
her eyes
distant,
filled with silent pain,
like a dream I
confirming
can't
everything
hold
without
on.
saying a single word
And I
as the
fake a
truth
calm
fully settles
expression
between them.
while my
Victor
heart
takes
is
a slow
coming
step
undone.
closer, his voice
It's
trembling
raining deep
as he
inside my
apologizes
heart,
not just for leaving,
but I
but for
don't
breaking a
let it
promise
show.
that shaped both their lives
I just
in ways
stand
he never
here in the
understood before.
silence while
Lena
I
listens in
watch
silence,
you let
her
me go.
eyes reflecting
You're
years of
walking with
loneliness as
somebody
she struggles
else,
between holding
like I
on to
never
pain and
crossed your
accepting the
mind.
apology.
And I'm drowning in this
Victor
feeling
admits
that I'll
while he built
never
an empire,
leave
he
behind.
lost the only things that truly mattered. His
could
words
scream, but what's the
breaking
reason?
as he finally accepts the cost
You
of
were
his
never
success.
really mine,
Lena finally speaks,
so I
her
bury
voice
all the
calm
pieces
but firm as she
and
tells him
pretend that I'm
some promises do not break
alright. It's
overnight.
raining deep
They break
inside
over
my
years of
heart.
silence, Victor nods slowly, accepting her words without defense, realizing that forgiveness is not something he can demand, but something he must earn over time. Victor gently asks her to come back, not as someone he wants to control, but as someone he wants to stand beside and make things right together. After a long pause, Lena takes a small step forward, not fully accepting, but no longer walking away, leaving the future uncertain yet open. Victor lowers his hand and walks beside her instead of ahead, silently choosing to rebuild what was broken without forcing the past forward. As they walk out of the alley together, the silence between them feels lighter, not because the past is gone, but because they are finally facing it together. Victor pauses and looks back once, realizing that true wealth is not built with power, but with the people we choose not to leave behind. And this time, he chooses different. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because sometimes the smallest kindness carries the biggest truth.